Hey there, classic rock lovers, and welcome to Classic Reviews, where we review classic rock albums. And today we have an exciting treat for you. So get ready for an epic CD review that will hopefully leave you craving to listen to this band. The CD we will be reviewing will be a greatest hits CD by the British rock band Deep Purple. So, Deep Purple are a band that formed in the late 60s, and like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, they are regarded as one of the most influential and pioneering bands in hard rock and heavy metal history. The band are still together today, regularly touring and recording, and Deep Purple have been together with various lineups for many years now. The most well-known band's lineup is the Mark II lineup, which comprises of singer Ian Gillan, bassist Roger Glover, and drummer Ian Pace, who are still in the band today. And past members of the Mark II lineup are the late keyboard player John Lord and guitarist Richie Blackmore. And throughout the various lineup changes, drummer Ian Pace has been the one constant member of the band since it started. Ian Gillan has gone on to become quite an influential vocalist. He pioneered the use of low growly vocals and high-pitched high-range screams, which would be a big influence on singers like Bruce Dickinson and Eric Adams from Manowar, for example. Richie Blackmore is a very versatile guitar player and went on to become very influential as a guitar player, especially in the neoclassical shredding genres, being a big influence on a lot of the top guitarists in the 80s, like Yngwie Malmsteen, for example. So, this compilation was released in May 2000, and I think this CD was meant to be a single disc alternative to the Shades 4 CD box set, which came out the year before. It features a chronological track listing with songs starting from 1968 until 1985. And the songs featured on this CD are from the Mark I, Mark II and Mark III lineups. The opening song of this greatest hits CD is a cover of the song Hush. The original song was written by American musician Joe South for the American country soul singer Billy Joe Royal in 1967. Deep Purple recorded and released their version a year later for their debut album Shades of Deep Purple, and it became Deep Purple's first big hit, charting at number 4 in the American charts. With this being from the band's debut album and first song on this CD, this means that it's the Mark I lineup performing this song, so you hear Rod Evans on lead vocals and Nick Simper on bass. Deep Purple's version of the song Hush is one of them songs where you think, oh, I've heard this before, and it's a great mix of pop and hard rock, featuring a rather funky groove and catchy hooks. The last thing I can think of to say is that the Mark II lineup did re-record this song for the live album Nobody's Perfect, which came out in June 1988. The second song on this greatest hits CD is another cover from the Mark I lineup in 1968, and it's called Kentucky Woman. This is originally a Neil Diamond song, and it's from Deep Purple's second album, The Book of Taliesin, which came out in October 1968 in the US and June 1969 in the UK. Like with the previous Mark I cover Hush, Deep Purple have really made this cover their own, and it did chart alright in the Billboard Hot 100, but nowhere near as high as what Hush did, only reaching number 38 in the US charts. With this song, we get to hear Rod Evans show off a bit more than usual vocally, and the rest of the instrumentation is also very good too, with some great intro playing by Richie Blackmore and great outro playing by John Lord and Ian Pace, not to mention some great keyboard soloing by John Lord too. The third song on this CD is called Black Knight. This is the first song on this greatest hits CD that we hear from the legendary Mark II lineup, which means you have Ian Gillan on lead vocals and Roger Glover on bass, joining Richie Blackmore, John Lord and Ian Pace. This is one of my favourite Deep Purple songs, and it was originally a non-album single, but I think it was still used to promote the In Rock album, and it got all the way to number 2 in the UK charts in 1970-71, making it the band's highest charting UK single. This song was written in the key of A minor, and while it features some powerful singing by Ian Gillan and some fiery organ play by John Lord, Richie Blackmore seems to be the star of the show in this song, The catchy main riff of the song features the pentatonic blues scale, and the blazing guitar solo is filled with pick slides and use of whammy bar. While the song didn't feature on the original release of Deep Purple in Rock, it was added to the 25th anniversary release. Track number 4 on this compilation CD is called Speed King. This rather hectic song is the opening song from the Deep Purple in Rock album, which came out in June 1970. And the version you hear on this greatest hit CD is from the American release of Deep Purple in Rock. The American version leaves out a minute-and-a-half instrumental intro of some hectic guitar playing, guitar soloing by Ritchie Blackmore, which turns into a short chord progression by John Lord. So this American version skips all that out and jumps straight into the first verse. This song introduces us to Ian Gillan's iconic screams, and the lyrics are mostly references to Little Richard songs. After the second chorus, you get to hear a dueling guitar organ solo instrumental break, which is in the key of F major. The solos start off slow and slowly start to get faster and faster until Ritchie Blackmore explodes into a solo, which is mostly the same riff with pick slides and loud distortion. The fifth song of this CD is a song that's over 10 minutes long. It's the song called Child in Time. So this dramatic sounding rock opera is from the Deep Purple in Rock album, and it's a Cold War anti-Vietnam communist song that was inspired by the song Bombay Calling by the psychedelic rock band It's a Beautiful Day. On the musical instrumental side, the song is a partly organ heavy ballad, while the rest of the song is more heavy metal. You have a long intro commencing with John Lord on keyboards, with Roger Glover's bass riff in the background. And one thing this song is known for is the instrumental breaks, which features some of Ritchie Blackmore's best guitar work. It starts with a mid-paced guitar solo, which accelerates more and more for over 2 minutes, while being complemented by Ian Pace's drum fills, until it all abruptly stops and John Lord takes over for his own keyboard solo, which leads into the next verse. Now, the main thing this song is known for is Ian Gillan's screaming vocals. The high screams you hear in this song was something you didn't really hear back when this came out, so he set back trends that later singers like Bruce Dickinson, Rob Halford, King Diamond and Eric Adams would follow. In the parts where Ian Gillan is actually singing and not wailing, he's singing like you would hear in a theatre production, so every word he sings is over-dramatised and accentuated, so every single person, even if you're right at the back, can really hear what you're saying. Now, it's really worth mentioning that Ian Gillan done Jesus Christ Superstar around this time, and in this song Child in Time, he's not just singing the song. Like when doing Jesus Christ Superstar, he's singing it in a way that he's telling and selling the story. He's playing a role and it just reels you in so that you're in the story with him. And one more thing I'll add about this song and the vocal is that, like Steve Tyler early on, Ian Gillan has a lot of low register and high register, but doesn't seem to have anything in the middle. Song 6 on this greatest hit CD is called Strange Kind of Woman. Like the song Black Knight, this is one of the better songs on this CD, and it was originally a non-album single that charted very well, including getting to number 8 in the UK charts in 1971. This is a catchy song with some great guitar work, and it would replace the song Demon's Eye on the US release of 1971's Fireball album. When performed live, Ian Gillan and Ritchie Blackmore would have a guitar vocal duel, where Blackmore would play a guitar lick and Gillan would mimic it with his screaming voice. Track number 7 is the title track from the Fireball album, which came out in October 1971. This is a fast heavy metal song which opens with the sound of an air conditioner being switched on. The song is about a man falling in love with a mysterious woman, and it got to number 15 in the UK charts in 1971-72. The song Fireball features some absolute brilliant drumming from Ian Pace, while Ritchie Blackmore doesn't even get to have his own solo spot in this song, from which John Lord takes over with an organ solo that features a lot of tremolo. The band then returns to the fourth verse with John Lord soloing over it. Track number 8 is called Demon's Eye. This bluesy mid-paced rocker was the last song to be recorded for the Fireball album, and this song is not included in the US release of the Fireball album. Both Jon Lord and Ritchie Blackmore get to show off their more slow and melodic side, and you get to hear Ian Gillan screaming away at the end of the song. And on a side note, it was during the recording of the Fireball album where tension started rising between Ritchie Blackmore and Ian Gillan.